Well, that is right. You are listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Email me your thoughts, questions, opinions. You know, I'll even accept your adoration and praise here. Todd at ToddHuffShow.com. And, you know, as usual, I have a list of things here to talk about. And sometimes I make a game time decision here. Excuse me. I just want to mention this in passing. Which state is this? It's Wisconsin, I think. Wisconsin. I saw this in the Epic Times. So I have a 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 6-year-old son, daughter that live in this house with us still. We've not released them into the world or kicked them out, although there are certainly days. I'm kidding. But one of my, these emojis, that you'll find on your iPhone, or I don't know where all you find them, social media. Well, there's the emoji of, well, let's just put it this way. One of the Wisconsin recount officials in Milwaukee, it's a county clerk, George Christensen. I haven't checked on the party affiliation, although I'm certainly leaning one direction on this one. So he thinks that the emoji that is the little smiley face on the human excrement, the poo, if you will, the little poo emoji. I don't know how to say this politely or whatever, but they printed those out on wristbands for the poll workers. So that was your idea. So, like if you go to a concert or some place where you need to have identification as you're walking through, and you can hold it up and they can say, oh yeah, you're supposed to be here. You're someone who has the credentials. The credentials for the recount, I am not making this up, is a wristband with the poo emoji on it, smiling poo emoji. And this guy, County Clerk George Christensen, says this, according to the Epic Times: I always thought it was chocolate ice cream, personally. Wisconsin Center is our vendor who handles all the logistics. So they are the vendor that created the wristbands, the credentials. Think about this. This is a state-sanctioned event, a recount in Wisconsin. This company, Wisconsin Center, says, I got an idea. We're going to give everybody credentials with the poo emoji on it. What? So they're walking around. That's how you get in and out of these places. You have the poo emoji on your wristband. And it's not just one. They're probably, I don't know, three-quarters of an inch, maybe close to an inch, each one, all the way around the wristband, the little paper wristbands. He says they probably are just pulling what they have in stock because this is the first opportunity they've had to be open in quite some time through the pandemic. So we got poo wristbands being handed out. And by the way, they also found 386 absentee ballots discovered. We had been assured, folks, we've been assured multiple times that every vote has been counted in all these states. Every single vote. They know it. There's no sense in having a recount. There's no way they should have an audit. We've been told, in fact, this is the most secure election in American history. This is it. By the way, if you want to make my spidey sense go off, tell me that this is the most secure election we've ever had. Because that is living in complete and utter denial. And you don't even have to believe anything about Dominion, Smartmatic, any of that stuff yet. Although Sidney Powell, according to her friend and fellow attorney Lynn Wood, who, by the way, I would encourage you, if you are on Twitter and you haven't followed Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood yet, I encourage you to do that. But Lynn Wood said that Sidney Powell is filing suit today in Georgia. So I know that the media narrative is Trump has already put the GSA into motion. so that this is, the official transition to power. Have you ever heard this, by the way? It's Todd, I haven't heard of it before, because normally presidents concede, or people who lose elections concede. We've never been privy to the behind the curtain look at how the government functions. So that's why this came up. No, this came up. This whole GSA thing became a point of kind of a check mark, so to speak, on the list of people to prove to you that Trump is basically done and throwing in the towel whenever he tells the GSA to begin letting Biden sit in on briefings or whatever. I suppose get furniture for the mythical office of the president-elect. There is no office of the president-elect. There is, again, I've read the paperwork. You can refer to someone as the president-elect. It's not an office. There's no power or authority. There's a transition process whereby you come alongside, or you're kind of mixed into the briefings and intelligence and just some of the logistical stuff that allows you and your team to get ready for the next, presumably your term. But there's no office. It's not an official thing. Although I will tell you, in fact, if you watch on your Facebook video, you'll see when we go to break here that this studio is now I have declared it officially the office of the potential future president-elect. That's where we're broadcasting from. So I encourage you to make up your own office as well. It's not an official office. It doesn't mean that there's not a transition and that someone is not president-elect, but they're president-elect once we get through all the shenanigans. Once Trump either concedes or not. There's a practical element in allowing the GSA to do what they need to do, and that is this stuff hasn't been all figured out and ironed out yet. Folks, we have 3 states that are holding hearings, one beginning today, the state of Pennsylvania, on the vote counts. Rudy Giuliani will be testifying or having some floor time there during that hearing in the state legislature. They're also doing it, I think it's in Arizona and maybe Michigan. I don't know, but the point is this is not over. And just because Trump gives the GSA authority to allow Biden to do this, all that means is, it is the responsible thing to do at some point, right? That is certainly a possibility that Biden is president-elect, he will be. But there's a lot of stuff that's still hanging in the balance out there. And this Sidney Powell lawsuit is the first, I don't want to say the first, because you have you have 2 different paths. You have the path that the official Trump team is taking, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis. They are taking the path that says executive branches in states, either through the bureaucratic groups of folks that are working in what I'm really coining as the fourth branch of government. Some of the bureaucratic state is so big that it's not even in many cases really even reporting to or under the authority of the executive of that state. And that includes the United States as well. You heard Sidney Powell make the allegation that the Department of Justice is going rogue, and that Bill Barr and Donald Trump that there are people out there deep within the Department of Justice doing their own thing, just in many ways subverting the authority of those at the top. But this happens, I think, in states as well. So you had state bureaucrats or even folks that are part of the executive branch or whomever this is what the Trump team is primarily arguing. They changed the rules for Election Day without going through the proper channels. Turns out, surprisingly to those who don't know anything about how the United States government is supposed to function, whether they be the federal government or state governments, but it turns out laws are made in the legislature. Turns out those videos you saw in elementary school with how legislation is made, they're actually right. Right? It's written in one house of Congress. The identical legislation must be voted upon and passed with the majority in both houses and then go to the executive, the president, in the case of federal legislation, and get signed into law. And then you've got this supposed third-party arbiter, the Supreme Court or the whatever court that is, that actually interprets that law should there be some dispute as to how a law should be applied in a particular case. And in those instances, the court is supposed to look at the law, and they're supposed to look at the Constitution, and they're supposed to hear arguments and decide based upon how the law was written, what the Constitution says, the intention of the founders. This is where originalism comes in. This is why it matters. The only thing that really should matter is not political affiliation. If someone is truly committed to interpreting and applying law as written and as intended, it shouldn't matter their political affiliation. It matters their judicial philosophy. And that's why when we've got Supreme Court justices who say it's okay to cite foreign law and things like that, we've got a major problem. But anyway, that's how this is supposed to work. But see, the Trump team says that's not what happened. And it's, as a matter of fact, not what happened. People just arbitrarily extended deadlines, and then courts heard these cases in many instances, and they said, absentee ballots can be received up until whatever date, never passing the state legislature, not a law, which also brings up the whole COVID stuff. These COVID rules are the same way. There's not been any laws. Well, I can't say any in this vast nation, but these are governors acting with authoritarianism, imposing fines, peeping in windows of your Thanksgiving dinner this weekend or tomorrow, starting tomorrow, if you and your family are doing that, peeping in the window. How many people we got in there? Are they socially distanced? Are they wearing a mask? Did they bring their own food and drink? I mean, what is this, folks? Oh, Todd, it's all for the public safety. How are you going to enforce this? And why is it their prerogative? Well, Todd, if there's 10 people at a Thanksgiving, so we're okay with 9? Just like we're okay to wear a mask at a restaurant if we're sitting, but if we stand up, all hell is supposed to break loose? COVID knows. COVID knows, right? It's insane some of these things we're subjected to. This is the promises of a bureaucratic state, utopian society. These things they don't add up. Well, Todd, we got to do something. Okay. Well, how about we do it through the legislative process instead of just one man or woman's personal desires and thoughts on the matter? This is how we get Gavin Newsom attending dinner parties while telling everyone else in California they can't even go and eat outside anymore. This is how in this state we get Governor Holcomb shutting down the parks, but oh yes, he and his family can go and stay at the governor's residence in Brown County, while the rest of us are not allowed to see a state park. Why? Who says that? The governor. Well, that's convenient. Anyway, the avenue the Trump team is taking is the avenue of saying that these elections, they've extended deadlines, they've changed the rules these states have changed the rules for receiving absentee ballots. They've changed, again, the deadlines for receiving ballots. They've just all sorts of requirements. They have, in some cases, the Trump team says Democrats were allowed to cure or correct their ballots. In other states or in other parts of that same state, Republicans were not. So this is unequal protection under the law. The law is not being applied fairly and consistently, especially as it pertains to an election. On and on this goes. Those sorts of technicalities, and I don't mean that in some sort of flippant sense, but there's rules to an election. And a lot of these things are written right there in the law in black and white. Ballots must be received by 8 p.m. on Election Day or whatever the time is. Okay, so why are we counting ballots that were received on November 4th then? Why? Well, because somebody said that they should. So that's the Trump team's official argument. That's what it looks like around the country. And then Sidney Powell is looking at releasing the Kraken. Sidney Powell is looking at going after systemic, wide-scale voter fraud. She's looking at Dominion, and I've not seen, of course, the lawsuit yet that she's supposedly about to drop in Georgia. But according to people, Jack Flynn tweeted this out late last night. I'm sorry, not Jack Flynn. I'm looking at the wrong tweet here. an individual that saw heard what's going on in Georgia, Brian Cloudis, Sidney Powell retweeted this. He writes, "I'm shook. Tonight I had dinner with a close friend who was in Georgia with the Trump team observing the counting of ballots. What she observed is so wrong I can't even comprehend. She is one of the affidavits. Sidney Powell is now filing tomorrow. And guess what state? Georgia." So, and Sidney Powell retweets that. I think we're about to see what Sidney Powell's Kraken looks like, but assuming the media lets us do it, you're going to have to follow. That's why you got to follow Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood. That's the only way probably to get some of this information, because the media narrative is Trump is basically bowing out gracefully and quietly. He's waving the white flag, and these lawsuits are just kind of a last-ditch effort. But in reality, there's real problems here, and we're about to see the level of proof that Sidney Powell and the Trump team can come up with. So, that being said, a lot going on here, but got to take a time out. Now, I want to shift gears next segment. Excuse me. I want to shift gears next segment and play an interview I had with a gentleman named Matt Lamb. He is the assistant editor at the College Fix, and we're going to do this on a regular basis now. But he's, the College Fix basically helps or trains folks to be journalists, which is a shocking concept in 2020, and to basically expose some of the bias that we see on college campuses against Republicans, conservatives, and dare I say even Christians and so forth. So I want to play that interview and share that with you. Some of these things you'll know, some of these things might still be shocking. But this battle that we're fighting, we're dealing with fraud and just bad people at a lot of levels, including in education, including in folks that are in charge of elections and folks that are trying to corrupt the system, people that are fraudulent. Voter fraud is a real thing. So we're fighting this battle on multiple fronts: education, the media, and now apparently how governments are handling elections as well. So, quick timeout is in order. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep and inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Do you have 10 years of construction experience? Reformation LLC specializes in residential construction and is looking for a mentor and team leader to fill a general superintendent position. Our company was founded to provide training and mentoring to individuals coming out of substance abuse addiction. We believe your past doesn't dictate your future. If you have experience, we have a place for you at Reformation. We have a passion for seeing lives and homes transformed. Contact us today at reformationllc.com or 317-643-1952.
Hi, this is Kenton with Christian Community Connect. We're a network of business professionals that are committed to living out our faith in the marketplace by preferring one another in love while serving everyone. With online listings at $27 per month, if you're a Christian in business, committed to treating others as you would want to be treated, we would love to include you. Check our reviews and sign up at ChristianCommunityConnect.com.
Hey Indy, Sid here with Kill a Dent Removal. We specialize in a paint-free repair process known as PDR. Our certified master technicians remove dents and dings of all shapes and sizes, including hail damage, with zero body fillers, zero painting, and zero diminished value. Most repairs are completed the same day, many even while you wait. Check us out at killadentremoval.com. And remember, folks, don't paint your car, go PDR.
Corin Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corin Homes, family-owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today. Providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price, our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
You can make Christmas special for local families. Shepherd Community Center needs your donation for toys, hats, and gloves for children in need this holiday season. If you believe Christmas is about caring for others, help us make it special by sharing your blessings this season in the lives of those struggling. Help a child today. For more information on how to donate or volunteer, call 317-375-0203 or visit shepherdcommunity.org.
Welcome back, folks. I should tell you that this program is brought to you in part by our friends at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. For those of you that listen to this program, you know that I'm a summer guy. In fact, I get spring fever New Year's Day. I'm okay between now and the end of the year, there being a little bit of snow. I like snow around Christmas. I do not like snow and cold any other time. I'm a wimp. I'm a wimp when it comes to this cold weather. And so I'm reminded, in fact, I looked at the weather for next week and it's going to get cold here again. This is just the time of the year where that, of course, happens. So your furnace, you may need to think about this as you go into the colder months. And with the special financing that Economy is offering and some rebates and other things that they can help you with, now may be the perfect time to take a look at that furnace. So if you're in the market for that, if you're thinking about that, consider talking with our good friends at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Find out more information by going to economyheatingandair.com. That's economyheatingandair.com. Now, I'm going to pause and maybe upset a couple of you out there, but I am going to take a short break. This is going to be a short segment here, and then we'll do the interview with Matt Lamb after this next break, because it's about a 13-minute interview, and I don't want to get too far off the beaten path. But I did want to mention a couple of things here as we're talking about the battle that we are facing in this country when it comes to reclaiming it for constitutional conservative principles and values. According to Dr. Robert Epstein, or Epstein, I'm not sure which way he says it. He's a senior research psychologist. He's a senior research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology in the People's Republic of California. And he's done a study. And he says that at least, I think he was on I'm reading this in the Epic Times, but I think he was on Tucker Carlson recently. But he says that there is at least a minimum of 6 million votes that were shifted in 2020 by the way that Google search algorithms function and operate. This is what he says. Google search results were strongly biased in favor of liberals and Democrats. Shocking. Just like all of the votes that pop up. All the votes that changed over these days. Which way did every single vote that came in after these deadlines go? Virtually, they all went to Democrats and liberals. He also says that this is not true for Bing and Yahoo. So Bing and Yahoo don't favor Democrats and liberalism, but Google does. So we've got that out there, and he's got a lot of research and data to back that up. Also, listen to this. According to a study, a poll conducted, I'm trying to see, this is in the Epic Times as well. I can't see who conducted the poll here. But large numbers of 7 battleground state voters who backed former Vice President Joe Biden would not have voted for him had they known about major stories the national news media ignored, according to a survey made public Tuesday. What does it have to deal with? Well, Hunter Biden's dealings with officials and firms in China, Ukraine, and Russia would have prompted a whopping 9.4% of those surveyed to change their vote. 9.4% would have changed their vote had they known about that. So we've got the media, we've got Google, and we've got education. And Matt Lamb's going to tell us about that after the break. So sit tight. We'll play that interview when we return. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Ever wondered what shooting a real machine gun feels like? At Indie Trading Post, you can have an awesome and safe shooting experience in our family-friendly environment. Firing a weapon on full auto is something you will always remember. Schedule some range time today and let Indie Trading Post give you the real machine gun shooting experience. We guarantee you'll have a blast. Give us a call at 317-782-4867 or schedule your range time at fullautoindy.com.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at Zuluscape.com.
Our sense of smell stimulates memory and emotion. A scent can seemingly transport us to another place in time. Homemade, hand-poured candles and melts from spur-of-the-moment creations will give your nose the experience the rest of your body is missing during any season of the year. Crackling firewood, fresh-cut grass, Macintosh apple, and even racing fuel are some of their over 200 engaging fragrances. Visit spurofthemomentcreations.com and enter coupon code TODD at checkout to receive 15% off your order today.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Us today. He is with the College Fix, and for those of you that listen to this program for some time, you'll know that I've had experiences in college with professors and all sorts of crazy things. Of course, that was 100 years ago. Matt Lamb, our guest assistant editor at the College Fix, is here to kind of shine some light on what the status of education is today, and as it pertains to the things that students are being taught and just some of the problems there. And so it's my pleasure to welcome Matt Lamb to the program. Matt, how are you today, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Well, it is my pleasure. And, my college stories go back 100 years ago. So you're in here every single day. You see some of the crazy stuff. You report on this. Kind of explain quickly, number one, what does the College Fix do? And then we'll talk a little bit about, I guess, some of the things that you're seeing in the state of higher education in America today.
Sure. So College Fix, and certainly I'd encourage everyone to check us out at collegefix.com, sign up for our email list. We're on Twitter and Facebook. So we are a right-leaning news organization, and our main mission is to train basically the next generation of reporters. So we have a team of editors who have journalistic experience, and then we have student reporters that go to colleges across the country that we train in investigation, public records requests, basically all of the essential parts of journalism. And to clarify, when I say we lean right, what I mean is it's certainly in the issues we take on, the issues we cover. I think we're more likely, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, to cover aspects of maybe coronavirus or diversity or racial issues on campus that other news organizations won't cover. But we do train students to, reach out for comment, try to get the whole story, link back to legitimate sources. So we are certainly a very legitimate and professional news organization.
Well, this is something you and I have discussed. This is near and dear to my heart. As I've said before, there's some things that I experienced in college a long time ago, and you've experienced them recently. I had a professor that wouldn't grade my paper in college, opinion paper, by the way. I cited the Bible. He told me I couldn't do that. I had a professor say that Christianity was a good idea until it got all effed up. He said that in front of the whole class. I mean, I got several stories, and then it was me oftentimes versus the class when I did a semester exchange program at American University. I guess paint the picture of what it's like on college campuses around this country for conservatives or people who are Christians, traditional values folks. What's life like? What are they subjected to on college campuses today?
Sure. So for one, we know there's plenty of stories that we've covered about conservative speakers are brought in and they're shouted down or they're declared a security threat. Lately, it hasn't been that much of an issue just because you can't really do that many events on campus. But that's one issue. Really the big issue that I think a lot of students are going to face now is the way that universities are, because of different things, including the horrific death of George Floyd in May, universities are all kind of doing this thing where they're trying to, it's almost like rush to find examples of racism in their history. And what that means is that a lot of academic departments seem to be focusing on how can we, show that we're not racist. And a lot of the stories we cover, it's very tenuous. right? So if a university is 200 years old, the probability that they had someone teach there that was racist is, 150 years ago is pretty high. We just had a story, I believe it was yesterday, about the University of Minnesota's forestry, I think it was University of Minnesota, the forestry department at a university was accused of being too white.
I saw
And
this.
it's like, what does that do? What does that do for racial justice? And there are very serious issues of race and policing that need to be discussed, but, you have to wonder, like, what does that actually do to help people? What does that do to advance, the issue of justice?
That you bring up race and racism on college campus. That race has always been an issue my entire life, and there's multiple ways of looking at this. Of course, there's the issue of racism itself. Of course, there's racism that exists. No one's denying that. Then that leads into the discussions of systemic racism, but now we've gotten to that point where I think maybe of all the issues, and I defer to you, but I think the issue of race may be the single greatest, has changed more than any of the other issues on college campuses than when I was a student at Butler University, say 20 years ago. I feel like this may be the issue that's changed the most. I mean, there's crazy stuff happening. People apologizing, for being white, having white guilt, student groups that are literally, or students that are requesting black-only spaces, all this kind of stuff. Maybe talk about some of that climate and some of the things that you've seen on or reported on regarding race on campuses.
Sure. So one thing we saw is that there's certainly being a message sent. I'm not going to say at every university, but it seems to be at a lot of universities of there is one correct way to think about race and to talk about certain racial topics. And if you don't talk that way, you're going to be ostracized. So, for example, the Arizona State University, they had hired this woman, Sonia Forte Duran, I think her name was, and she, in June, she tweeted all the right things about Black Lives Matter and we need to talk about race. And then she tweeted something along the lines of, our hearts go out to all the families who have suffered from racism, and we have to support the good police officers, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one reason that was used to basically force her out of, she was going to become the new dean of the communication school.
Incredible.
Force her out because she just said, hey, there are good police officers. And this was part of her overall comment saying, like, yep, I agree we need to talk about these issues. Yes, I agree there's issues that need to be addressed. So that's one thing. The other thing, which I think you mentioned about black-only spaces, I've now seen this at Marquette University, as well as my own alma mater, Loyola University in Chicago, that they are pushing, and the university seems to be accepting, black-only living learning communities, they're called, or learning communities. And these traditionally have been, maybe you're very interested in environmental issues. So you're in a residence hall, but you're in like a learning community where you discuss topics about the environment. Maybe you do service projects, you read the same book or something. But they've been pushing for these black-only living learning communities, which obviously is just segregation by a different name. Black-only is segregation. And so that's one thing. The other issue is with these coronavirus restrictions, we've seen schools tell all groups, for example, they'll say, no groups of over 10, no rallies on campus. But then when Black Lives Matter wants to have a rally, which, by the way, is their right,
Mm-hmm.
they should be able to, they have their free speech rights too, no matter what I think about their message.
Mm-hmm.
They're given permission, but then Turning Point USA or Young Americans for Liberty isn't allowed to have like a 20-person club meeting.
Yeah, it's truly insane. So I want to pause. Now, this is something you and I want to have you come on this program on a regular basis to kind of update our listeners as to what's going on college campuses. This is important. I mean, in order for us to persuade for conservatism, we have to realize what we're up against, what folks are being taught, and it's astonishing sometimes. So I want to pause here in the final minute or so and ask you to maybe tell our listeners the role that you play in You mentioned about teaching real journalism, but just give us a snapshot of the role that you're playing in the fight that you're fighting on college campuses.
Absolutely. So I train my reporters to always be skeptical, and that the role of a journalist is to hold people accountable. So, for example, we've run a number of articles about the tilt in political donations at faculty in a number of states, primarily swing states for the presidential election, and how an overwhelming amount go to Democrats and Democrat candidates. When, for example, the University of Illinois released a climate action plan and all of the programs they were going to have and all the new projects, we train reporters to go ahead and ask them, how much are you going to spend on this? And you even admitted, for example, that these are going to be hard to implement. So how are you going to do that? So we'll cover issues like political donations, climate plans, anti-racism. We're certainly big supporters of free speech and open government. So we even covered the Rutgers Teachers Union, the AAUP, sued Rutgers to get information about its spending. And the AAUP is certainly no fan of the college fix. But, hey, we support open government. We support knowing where taxpayer dollars are going, knowing how universities spend money. So, we'll cover every topic like that. And it's really just, we want to dig deeper than maybe the student paper will cover, or maybe like a local paper will cover. So we're going to maybe ask questions like, how much is this going to cost? What are the metrics for this new program? If a school launches an anti-racism institute, well, how are you spending that money, and how are you going to measure the success? Or is it just kind of a PR stunt because that's the fashionable thing to do now, is to have anti-racism research, for example.
Have you talking there? One last question. I promise you. So as I'm listening to you say that, and I'm thinking, we have listeners, some who may be students, some who may have children who are students in college, or grandchildren who are students in college. I mean, what would you tell folks, especially those who are not the student, the parent or the grandparent?
Sure.
I guess what would you tell them is at stake? What would you tell them that they could do? Maybe speak a little bit to that really quickly, and we'll have to wrap up after that.
For sure. Well, we love to get news tips. So, all of our contact information is online. You can message us through Twitter and Facebook as well. So certainly any stories you see, please send our way, and we're happy to look into it. The main thing they can do is, as parents, as grandparents, because their kids are going to the school, their grandkids are going to school, they're graduates of these schools, is, ask questions. Especially if it's a public university. If you are a resident of a state, your public university is using your money, also using federal taxpayer dollars. So ask questions. When the university says, we're going to do this, ask them, have you thought about another way to do it? Write letters to the editor, to the campus paper or your local paper. Hold people accountable. Public and private universities should really be viewed as, in the same way we view the government. If people say they're going to do something, ask them why, or ask them how, or challenge them if you disagree with it. And I really think making your voice heard is really great. I know a lot of alumni have organized their own alumni group that are maybe more right-leaning or just more skeptical, and that's certainly a great way to go to have your voice heard. Absolutely. And certainly encourage your students to get involved with us by giving us stories or writing for us.
That's right. Light exposes a lot of this nonsense, and the folks that are operating in the darkness here with some of this crazy stuff, light is a major cure to this. And engagement, I think you hit it right on the head. And a lot of this comes down to engagement. We just can't put things on autopilot and expect things to be normal, because we have folks that are hell-bent, Matt, on trying to change this nation fundamentally at all levels, whether it be education, in our government, what have you. So I appreciate what you do. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll have you back. Here soon. This is Matt Lamb, assistant editor of The College Fix. Matt, thanks so much for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Have you seen the price of custom cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
Family owned since 1973, Edwards Equipment at 1375 East Main Street in Danville is ready to meet your equipment needs by selling, renting, and servicing several makes and models of lightweight residential or heavy-duty commercial equipment. We carry and service top-name brands like Ferris, Kubota, Steel, Gravely, Honda Power, Land Pride, and more. Visit edwardstractor.com or call 317-745-6427 to check out our clearance specials today. At Edwards Equipment, we don't just sell you any piece of equipment, we sell you the right piece of equipment.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Welcome back, folks. This is time of Thanksgiving. This is the time of Thanksgiving. I just have a couple things to say about this. First of all, I hope you have a happy and safe Thanksgiving holiday. This is my favorite holiday. I'll be honest with you. To me, it's the one that's, it's about family. Usually, who knows what it's about for folks this year with all the rules. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be careful or anything. I'm just saying that the holiday itself, it's normally about family. It's about some great food. It's about a great historical moment in the history of this nation. And I hope that you are able to pass along the gratitude to your children and grandchildren, the gratitude to Almighty God for allowing us to be a part of this, the greatest nation on the face of the earth. And why is it the greatest nation on the face of the earth? It's not, again, because of our genetics, our DNA. It's not because we're special and everybody else is not. It is because the ideas that we have embraced and founded this nation upon, freedom, liberty, capitalism, these ideas that let people pursue their own dreams, passions, desires, to succeed and to fail. That is what I am thankful for. I'm also thankful for you, our advertisers, our stations. I'm thankful for this opportunity each and every day. So have a happy Thanksgiving holiday. Quick timeout is in order. Come back and wrap up. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter. To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep and inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
Why would you call a company called Commercial Service for your home heating, cooling, and plumbing? Same question I had, because they have provided over 70 years of quality service and trained products for both homes and businesses in Central Indiana. It's hard to stop Commercial Service, and it's hard to stop a train. Give them a call. I'm glad I did.
Call Commercial Service at 812-339-9114 or online at commercialservice.com. Commercial Service, commercial-grade service for your home.
Yes, folks, I believe every word of that. I believe that we do live in the greatest nation on this planet. I believe that we have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot to be concerned about. In fact, I would say to my Christian brothers and sisters out there, if you haven't already begun praying for your nation, praying for this situation with recounts and whatever else we're dealing with here, lying and deceit, I pray, I hope that we all join in praying for truth and justice. I pray that we return this nation to her fundamental, foundational roots. So there's a lot to be concerned with. And Christians, in fact, I've thought about even doing a prayer call somewhere, I don't know, and inviting people to join us. Let me know if you're interested in doing that. I don't know. There's several things that I've thought about doing. But regardless, we still live in the greatest nation on earth. And I get sometimes a little bit of pushback. In fact, I'm reminded of a review I got on our podcast online, iTunes. This was written by a liberal, and he wrote something to the effect of, if you are a liberal, you will roll your eyes a lot. I'm sure liberals will roll their eyes when I talk about this being the greatest nation on earth, but it is. And again, it's not because of who we are. I mean, there's a part of that. I mean, people had to fight to make it happen. And those people have dotted the landscape of American history for a long, long time. But this is the greatest nation on earth. Happy Thanksgiving. God bless you all. Thank you so much. SDG, take care.
Are you tired of manually opening the gate every time you pull in the drive, especially during the freezing cold, pouring rain, or hot, humid weather? Then Gatekeeper Services has your solution. They offer affordable residential and commercial motorized units for your gated properties. Veteran-owned with over 50 years' experience in motorized gate sales and repairs on any make or model, and with numerous entry control options, Gatekeeper Services takes pride being certified in both automated gate system design and operator installation. Simplify your life today by calling 317-714-4061.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.